Hey guys, Dan Nelson here again. This is only my second YouTube live video. So you're seeing the very beginning, and it's liable to be just a little bit ragged, rough, and raw. Forgive me for that, but no doubt I'll have a few things to learn in the YouTube live video world. I am today on the south side of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where I live. Doing a painting of a very familiar, treasured icon in our county. It's called Yates Mill, and I am painting it. I'm starting to paint it, just getting started. And if you've been following me on Facebook for the last couple of years, then everything I'm doing right now is blah, 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 yeah. There he goes again, doing that same old stuff. If by chance on YouTube you're new to me, you're going, what the heck is he doing? And that would be an appropriate response. So I called this the first hit, call it a splash, initial splashes of acrylic. And normally I would prefer for everything here to be dry before I proceed to the next stage, next phase, but I don't have time for that today. So I am going ahead and doing some drawing with brushes because I can't afford to wait for this to dry. But basically, my technique entails layers and layers and layers of transparent color. If you were to use one word to describe, now hang on, let me stop talking and think about this composition. Got a problem right here, so that won't do. That is a kissing, that the peak of the roof hits right on the roof, so that I'm going to fix that. Have to move that. I don't usually erase, but basically that's what I'm going to do right now. So my technique involves layers of transparent color. First first acrylic color, and after that oil transparent colors. And the final stage is opaque, or if you will, a more traditional approach to painting, but that's in the final stage, and I'm very far from the final stage right now. So this, as you know, is called Plein Air painting. That's French, E-L-E-I-N. And I'm sorry for the sound quality. I've invested in two separate and independent microphone systems, and in the last couple of months, and both of them have in recent days broken down, so forgive me. I will be back to better sound quality as soon as I can afford to waste more money buying equipment that doesn't work. I call my initial technique, many people block in their paintings. I am vehemently against blocking in paintings, even though right now I'm drawing. It's almost just as bad. If you follow me for long, you'll hear over and over again why I disagree with the blocking concept. Two reasons, basically. One is because blocks are square things with hard edges, and people who block in their paintings, believe it or not, tend to do square shapes with hard edges. But the real problem with blocking in is it locks you in. And so what I advocate instead, and this sounds like just a word semantics word game, but it's really not. It goes beyond that. I recommend blobbing in a painting instead of blocking in a painting. So it allows you to change your mind. Again, I'm obscuring this technique at the moment by doing all this drawing, but again, if you follow me for a while, you'll begin to see the difference between blocking and blobbing. Okay, I think that composition is a little bit better. Let me take just a second to show you. Oh good, you can see it already. It says here I have a poor connection. And rats. I left my my remote wireless connector in the car, which is about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile from here. Right. So it took me quite an ordeal. Plein Air. I started to say plein air painting, and it has been a rather ordeal-ish. Getting to this point was quite the ordeal. It involved schlepping. You know that word? I think it's just a distinctly American term, I think. Schlepping. That means carrying heavy stuff. It involved schlepping 40 pounds, 60 pounds of stuff about half a mile over rocks and trees and roots and so forth. So it was not very easy getting here today. If this hadn't been my job, I would have said, oh, screw it, and go home. But this is my job, so screwing it is not really a good option. Okay, I've got this very important shadow happening right here. So after this period of doing some drawing, my initial splash should be partly dry, perhaps dry enough for me to come back and do another splash on top of it. Let's see. Not too bad. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a trick where I'm removing in the first splash whatever is not dry. I'm also blobbifying. Let me make up that word. That my drawing was a little too draw-ish. It was a little too liney. So I'm de-lining, or I'm blobbifying. That's a good word. I'm blobbifying those lines, making them less distinct, more vague. Okay, so that lets me now come back and do a second color, which I'm not sure what color it should be. As you can see, there's a lot of green over there. There you go. I am almost certainly not going to be doing a lot of green like that. Hello, kids.
Hi.
You want to watch me paint for a while?
You want to watch me paint for a minute?
Good.
Okay, let's stand out of the sun.
That's a good idea, too. Does that look like fun? So my paintings start out kind of as a big mess. And then little by little, they get neater and neater. That's the way I paint. Not everybody thinks that way. In fact, at the moment, you can hardly even see the mill, can you?
Yeah, it looks like you're just painting
That's crazy.
blue sky all around.
Looks like it's just being crazy. Yep. Some of the other terminology, pardon me, I talk to my YouTube people. Some of my other terminology that I use is when I'm blobbing in a painting.
Well, he's just started.
Yep, it's going to look great when I'm done. I wish I had a business card.
Do you paint this a lot, or is this the...
I think this is either the third or the fourth time I painted it in 20 years, so
Oh, okay.
not
So not
quite
a lot.
no. For instance, with this purple, I'm doing just dark zones, things that are dark over there. But the key word there is zones. If there's a window here, see, there's my window. There's a window. This is what I call blobbing, as opposed to blocking. Much more amorphic, much more vague, non-committal than the traditional blocking.
He's just starting. Remember, he said he's going to make it neater
That's
as they go.
If you can come by later, it'll look great.
But we're gonna carry on our walk, so maybe we'll stop by later if we
Have
haven't run out
fun.
of steam.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. That looks messy. I love it. My paintings do look messy, like at this phase, this stage in particular. I've really developed a devious sense of humor about it when I'm out painting on the street. And hey, I'm gonna, now that that's all soaking wet and won't be dry for a while, I'm gonna proceed to do some pencil lines. Now, again, to those of you who are new, this drawing with pencils, what are they? They are jet black, jumbo jet black. Hey, somebody's talking. How do you feel about digital pixel art, Dan? Good question. Yeah, it's great in its proper context. Is it? And I do it. I've done several, photorealistic renderings. Go to my website. Look under digital or under illustration over the years. But is it art in the same way? I'm going to make all the young people angry. They say, nope, it's not. How can I say such a thing? Well, for one thing, I'm old and skilled, and I do digital art, and it's not the same because there's no stuff involved. It's all digital. Well, like I said, I'm making all the young people mad. Anyway, you asked. It's perfectly appropriate in the illustration world and in any world that you want to, but it doesn't give the same satisfaction because you're not manipulating the cosmos in the same way, in a physical way. There you go. You're not manipulating the cosmos in a physical way, so it does not have the same degree of satisfaction that real art does. And it's beautiful, and I applaud it. I love looking at, a deviant art type website where young people are doing all kinds of beautiful stuff. And it's better than the modern crap that has been ruled the roost for 100 years now. Young artists are returning to real art and abandoning the emperor's naked shenanigans of the universities. Whew, that's a mouthful. Don't listen to me. If you don't want to hear me say things, don't watch my videos. Because I am going to say things. I'm writing a book on the subject, actually. I'm actually writing 2 books. Don't be confused. I'm writing 2 books at the same time. The first one is simple. The first one is called How to Paint. No, it's not called How to Paint. The first one is called The Breakable Laws of Painting. And I hope to have that released within a year. And that's just how to paint better. A how-to book for artists. The second book is is philosophical, and it doesn't have a title yet, but I'm trying to explain the world of modern art to people that don't understand it, which is roughly 99% of the population. Roughly 99. I'm going to claim 97.5% of the population. But I believe the number is actually closer to 99. I'm not a lover of modern art, I'm not a hater of modern art. I am an explainer, an understander. I believe I have some understanding about it, and that's what I want to share with people. I do abstract paintings, not infrequently. Again, go to my website, and you'll see with dannelsonart.com. I say go to my website as though you know how to do that, right? dannelsonart.com. And you'll see scores of abstract, non-objective paintings. Anyway, so I started this pencil stuff last summer, a year ago now, when I was doing, in fact, a whole bunch of abstract paintings last summer. 2016 for me may have been the year of the abstract. And in abstract, yeah, I have a certain degree of freedom, and I started using these pencils. Liked the effect so much that it bled back over into my representational stuff. Now, what I don't know is if this is a permanent switch or if it's something that's I'm gonna get tired of after a while. But it's been about a year now, and I'm still enjoying this interplay between scribbly, scratchy lines of pencil and one, two, three, four, and paint. Enjoying the interplay between those two things. I'm going to jump way ahead right now. Just about time for a break. I called this initial splashes of acrylic, and I guess you could still say, generally speaking, with the exception of that little bit of pencil work, this is still initial splashes. But I'm going to do some white. My first white layer is always very important on a number of levels. It really, really begins to define the painting more than all those layers of color. This is a little bit early for me to be doing acrylic, for me to be doing white. Any other comments happening right now? No? Poor connection. Boy, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to run back to the car and see if I can improve that with a MiFi device. Don't know if that'll help or not. Honestly, don't know if that'll help or not. But I'll try. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'll be back in a few minutes with part 2. Thanks for watching.